Hello, Camille. How you doing? My name is Gerald.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Okay, hello. Oh, tell me, how was it getting here? Any traffic?
A little bit of traffic, not too bad. I did get a little lost along the way, but not a big deal.
Okay, how was the waiting room? Did you wait too long?
No, not at all. I waited maybe like 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. We've been real busy, but that's something that we're conscious of, and we're trying to make sure you guys don't wait a lot. We're glad that you guys come here. So yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So before we say anything, um, just in case, I have to say this every single time. What we speak here is going to be between us. Um,
Hmm.
Nothing leaves this room. After the session, if you have any questions about who will be able to see this or where do I store it, you'll be more than welcome to ask me, and I'll be open. This is your information, and we just have to record it for insurance, and the center requires us to record all of our sessions.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And I like to say that too, so that you guys are comfortable, I want you to have that peace of mind.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. So with that being said, tell me, what brings you in today?
Um, so I've been experiencing, I guess, COVID fatigue. Um, it'll be a year this week that I haven't like left my house or anything or seen my boyfriend. And it's getting to me. I know that it's coming to an end though because I just recently got the prescription for the vaccine. Um, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't gotten to me, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So this right now, we're all going through different struggles with COVID, and so you feel a little bit overwhelmed, with everything. But I'm glad to hear that you're going to be vaccinated, and at least that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. So I am happy about that, but you know, COVID honestly was one of those things that, as with everybody, was really unexpected. So a lot of parts of my life had to be put on pause. And, you know, I'm spending more time on social media. So I'm looking at all of my friends doing all these wonderful things. They're getting married, they're having babies, they're buying properties. And, I'm happy for them. That's really good for them. But I I want those things for myself now and I don't have them. And now I have this like increasing desire to get to that point in my life where I do have those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you. So you see your friends are doing all these things, and you feel a little, uh, you know, you feel trapped, and you know, you feel kind of trapped because you aren't able to do these things. But tell me more about that. Why do you feel trapped?
Um, I guess it's because right before the pandemic hit, I was getting ready to do new things with my life. Like my life was heading in a different direction. I had just gotten a new job. Like I had my mindset on how my life was supposed to go, and then it didn't. And I had to kind of just put all those things on the back burner and wait. And then I see that all my friends are not doing that. They're not putting their lives on the back burner. They're doing the things that they need to do, like getting married. It didn't stop them from getting married. It didn't stop them from having kids, from buying properties. And I feel stuck. And I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because I am getting the vaccine. However, I now there's that sense of urgency of just as soon as I get the vaccine, how am I going to go about doing all those things and getting to where I want to be? Because I don't want to say I've wasted time, but it feels like I've wasted time.
Okay, yeah. So so you're anxious. Before COVID, you felt like you were about to embark on some new journeys, some new goals that you had. Then COVID came, everything got put on pause, and now, well, you feel like you've been on pause, but your friends haven't.
Yes.
So you feel a little. Let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? You feel uh you just feel kind of left out, I guess. Yeah, you feel left out because your friends are doing some things that you want to do, and you're going to be vaccinated, and you want to do those things, but now you're anxious about doing those things.
Yeah, I think you're right about me feeling like I'm left out. Not so much in the like I want to copy them kind of way, but more like, hey, it's about time that I have those things for myself, right? Because I don't know if you know, but I'm in my 30s. So this is around the time where I should be doing those things, where I should be um, taking those steps in my life, and I'm not, and I feel like I'm I guess left behind, and I don't want to be. So it's, you're absolutely right in that anxiety is there. Um, but I try not to focus too much on that. So now that I know that I'm getting vaccinated and everything, my focus is shifting on, okay, what can I control? What can I do? Um, and then that makes me think about taking the next step in my relationship with my boyfriend. Um, and that's another level of feelings right there.
Okay. Tell me about your relationship with your boyfriend.
So we've been together for a few years now, and like I mentioned to you at the beginning, I haven't seen him since the start of the pandemic, so it'll be a year now. So I'm I'm optimistic and I'm happy that I get to see him again, but now it's this kind of sense of impending, like, I don't want to say doom necessarily, but feeling like my time's running out to get married, to start a family, to do all these things. And it's to the point where I'm willing to just compromise on ideas that were non-negotiable in the past. So like, let's say my early 20s, I really wanted to have a big wedding. Now I don't even care about that anymore. I'm perfectly fine with getting married in a courthouse and living my life with him. I just want to be living my life and happy with him already, if that makes sense.
Oh, I totally understand. So in a way, you're a little anxious because you feel like time is running out. You said that you're in your 30s, and you want a lot of these things that some of your friends have.
Right.
So and so you just feel like time is running out, and you want to do these things, and hopefully you will.
Yes, exactly. And there's a part of me that just literally, I just, as soon as I get vaccinated, I want to just jump in and do all those things and say, okay, let's get married, let's do this, let's do that. And then the logical part of me sets in, and I start thinking about, okay, all right, you want to get married, but you're not working. So, and he doesn't make a lot of money. So, where would you live, and how would you pay your bills, and how would you do all of these things? How is this going to work? It's like I want to get there, but I don't know how. And that's what's troubling me, is this whole situation, or trying to figure out, okay, I know what I want, but it doesn't feel realistic because of where I am at financially and where he's at financially. And it's this whole thing of like, I'm back at square one, where it's like, I know what I want, I don't know how to get there, and I feel like I'm on pause because I probably won't be working until maybe I graduate. So that's that's what I'm, I guess, struggling with right now.
Okay, ma'am. So I see. So you are happy that as soon as you get vaccinated, you'll have a you'll things will return more normal for you because you'll be vaccinated. But at the current moment, you're thinking about how right now you're unemployed, he's unemployed, and so you're worried about the future, um, which is
Right.
uh, which is totally normal. We all worry about the future. Um, Let me just ask: have you spoken to your boyfriend about your concerns?
Yeah, so he's to clarify, he's not necessarily unemployed. He just doesn't make a lot of money. So where he's at right now, he's making roughly like 30,000 a year, and I know that that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, especially living in a place like Miami where the cost of living is high. Um, so um, I've tried talking to him about it, but it's difficult. And the reason why that is because um, I don't know how to go about having that conversation with him to where it doesn't feel like I'm attacking him, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're a little reluctant to, tell him, hey, I'm a little concerned about, your current job because, it can be, a little insulting, to say that to a man. Um, so I understand that, and so you guys haven't even had that conversation.
Um, I've tried to tiptoe into that conversation. So I'll ask him, hey, like, how are things at work? Like, because he he works for a small company. He gets paid under the table, so he's not even getting his, he doesn't have a W-2. He doesn't have any of these things that are in the grand scheme of things really important, because you need to, for example, if you're going to go buy a house, you need to show proof of income and things like that. And I've tried to explain those things to him, but I guess there seems to be a disconnect to where he doesn't share the same sense of urgency I do. So when I'm having those conversations of, hey, has your boss finally put you on payroll? um, what's the situation with your raise? You've been there for a few years, like, what's going on? you know he's very proud and he's very happy about what he's done, and I don't want to diminish that in any way. But I also, I want to be able to tell him, like, hey, respectfully, like, I just don't see how you're going to be able to grow here. um what is it that we can do to where, like, when we do finally take that step and get married and all that, that we're living a comfortable life, because right now I don't see it. So, I tried tiptoeing into that and kind of like leaving hints of, like, hey, well, you know are you considering finding another job if they don't pay you well? Or, what do you think you're going to be like by the end of the year or by next year? Like, where do you see yourself? And I feel like those conversations are very abstract. Like, he doesn't have a plan. And that that bothers me. And it also kind of stops me from continuing the conversation, because he is so hopeful and he is so optimistic about what he's doing, and I'm not. And not that I'm pessimistic, it's just I'm a realist, and that I can see that there's not that much room for growth.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like your boyfriend, he's pretty comfortable where he's at, the job that he has, the money he's making, but you're proud of him. You are proud of him, and that's why you're reluctant to tell him. But although you're proud of him, you also understand that in order to get where you want the relationship to be at, he's gonna need to, probably provide proof of of earnings, And so that's where it sounds like it's a little bit of a different value because he's comfortable where he's at, and and you aren't comfortable because you guys are two.
Yeah. Um, it's I think you said the right thing in that he is comfortable, where I'm looking more at things long term, and he's looking at it as like, okay, things are fine right now. And I think that's where the disconnect is, because I'm like, okay, well, in a couple years from now, what's this job going to look like? How are we going to live? How is this going to impact us? And he's just like, it's fine the way it is. I'm okay. I'm comfortable. Um I'm not struggling, but I know once we start our family, then all that's going to change because things are going to get more expensive.
Yeah, yeah. So it also seems like your boyfriend is more in the right now, and it seems that most or it seems like the issue is that you're thinking more in the future, where he's thinking about right now and what's going on right now.
Exactly. And so part of the conversation that I have had is, I've asked him, well, would you consider perhaps working in another field, or applying to other jobs? And his response is like, yeah, I could apply to these places, like, he the company that his dad works for pays a little bit more. um but I guess my biggest concern is when we had that conversation, it was this he was just very content with like, I guess, I don't want to say the minimum, but it was his response to me was like, yeah, I'll find a job that pays me $22 an hour. And it's like, why is that the best you can do? Like, why can't you try to shoot for more? And I had to hold my tongue because I didn't want to squash his dreams. I didn't want to make it seem like I wasn't being supportive, because I absolutely am supportive of him. I want him to do better. Um, but I guess I want him to see the potential that I see that he has. And he doesn't see it, and it's frustrating because he limits himself because he can't see it. And that's what I'm struggling with now. It's like, I obviously want to spend the rest of my life with him, but I need him to do better. I need him to want that initiative to, like, to really say, "Hey, I'm worth this much, or I deserve so much more than what I have." And I don't see that he has that.
Yeah, yeah, I can tell. Just from our conversation right now, I can tell that you care about him. You've mentioned that you're proud of him, but the issue really is, in pertaining to your boyfriend, is that he's comfortable with where he's at, and you kind of want him to push to do more. But if he feels comfortable, if he feels that he's all right where he's at, then he's never going to feel like he needs to. Then he's not going to feel like he needs to progress more.
Exactly. And it's me trying to figure out, okay, how do I how do I empower him without diminishing him? How can I take those next steps in my relationship and be like, hey, um, I need to communicate with you what my wants and needs are, so that we can get to where we need to be okay in the future. Um, and that's what I'm having trouble with right now, is how do I communicate that with him? And not that I'm expecting you to tell me the answer. It's just I don't know where to start. I don't know how to go about that conversation, because those conversations need to be really nuanced. I can't just spew my feelings at, at him. I need to be able to maturely explain to him how I'm feeling, and be able to explain, hey, it's nothing against you. You're not doing anything wrong, but we as a team could be doing so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I understand what you're saying. You want to tell him that you want better for him without hurting him. So I understand that. So we're running a bit short on time. I'm gonna go ahead and summarize everything, and we have about 5 minutes left, probably less. Okay, so to begin, we started talking about how you're feeling, a lot of stress due to COVID, and I think we both can agree that is pretty normal in these times. Then you went on to talk about how before COVID you felt like you were going to embark on some new goals and journeys that you had. Then COVID came and everything kind of got paused. And I realized when you started talking about your boyfriend that you saw that a lot of your friends are getting married. And I believe that this is the reason that you're thinking about it and it's on your mind is because what you just told me about your boyfriend, that he's complacent, and you basically aren't sure about the future. And so I feel that those two things go hand in hand. uh, that adds to your anxiety of COVID, and being locked down is magnified by the fact that your boyfriend is complacent, or you feel he's complacent, and you want to push him to do better. You do want to be with him, but you also don't want to patronize him and make him feel bad. And so uh I understand all that. And what we'll do is in the next session we'll talk about some strategies maybe that you can have with your boyfriend. Maybe some couples therapy may be appropriate. We can explore that. And that'll wrap up today's session. Thank you for disclosing all that with me. Once again, that's between us. Do you have any questions before we end this session?
No, I think that strategy is a good one. I would like to work on some communication strategies with you, and potentially, if he's open to it, explore couples counseling. I think that might be a really good avenue for us.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds good. I'll see you next session.
Okay, thank you.